Hello friends. PSA's latest generation of EP petrol engines, in the case of the 1.6-liter 3008, continues to generate controversy. However, when the motor first appeared, everything was different. The entire automotive press expressed delight and did not spare words for praise. The atmospheric version of the VTI, despite the tight restrictions on emission standards, responds quite quickly to pressing the gas pedal. The turbocharged THP version accelerates even faster. The development of these engines was greatly helped by BMW. However, there are slight differences in the motors of each manufacturer. In addition, for the PSA concern, engines are assembled exclusively at the French plant Français de Mécanique. If you need a Peugeot 3008 with a gasoline engine, then choose the naturally aspirated VTI. Its only problem is the timing drive. As a rule, the stretched timing chain is blamed for everything, but more often the tensioner is the cause of the troubles. There are usually no serious consequences, since when the chain is stretched, the engine control unit detects a discrepancy between the data from the crankshaft and camshaft position sensors. The disease is accompanied by the ignition of the engine malfunction indicator, which forces most owners to contact the service. In the early years, some had to deal with the defect only after 20,000 kilometers. Today, the situation is much better, and a repair kit is available for $200. Together with the timing drive, the oil is changed, including the filter. Even more interesting is the turbocharged 1.6 petrol. In addition to the turbocharger, the unit received another blockhead. Instead of ported petrol injection, the 1.6 TNR uses direct injection and uses a conventional throttle valve to control performance instead of the expensive stepless valve lift technology, called BMW's Valvetronic. To the problem noted above with the timing chain drive, others are added, perhaps even more serious. Worst of all, turbo engines are prone to carbon deposits. Carbon deposits form around the oil pump intake basket, in the intake manifold, and on the valves, and in the combustion chamber. When soot is formed, engine malfunctions occur, and the control electronics go into emergency mode. Carbon deposits in the combustion chamber cause detonation. The electronics tries to prevent it by increasing the ignition timing, but this entails performance degradation. Detonation is a very dangerous phenomenon. In extreme cases, it can lead to cracking or even destruction of the pistons. The owners have already met with similar incidents. PSA mechanics tried to prevent problems by cleaning the intake manifold and combustion chamber by spraying a special agent inside. However, in practice, the effect is only in the short term. The second way to avoid problems is to add special additives to the fuel every 5,000 kilometers, a pretty controversial decision. In addition, closer to 100,000 kilometers, oil consumption increases significantly. However, the 1.6 THP sometimes forces you to deal with oil leaks. For example, over time, the oil supply pipe to the turbine and the oil filter housing begin to flow. The list of vulnerable parts of the 1.6 THP included the throttle valve and injection pump. Given the problems of gasoline engines, the buyer of a 3008 has no choice but to look for a turbo diesel. There were originally two. The smaller one, a 1.6 HDI, is representative of the DV series. Until 2010, it met the Euro 4 standard, and after, Euro 5. At the same time, there are more differences than it might seem at first glance. First of all, it is a different cylinder head. Instead of 16 valves, only 8 remained, and instead of 2 camshafts, only 1. The timing belt drive has been retained, as has the 240,000 kilometer replacement interval. However, many engine specialists are skeptical about the manufacturer's instructions and agree that it is better to change the timing belt no later than 150 to 160,000 kilometers, and even better, a little earlier. The 1.6 HDI is famous for its excellent economy. Unfortunately, it is also prone to the accumulation of carbon deposits. The wrong shape of the oil pan and the too long oil change interval, up to 30,000 kilometers in Europe, are to blame for everything. With the transition to Euro 5, the shape of the engine crankcase has not changed, but the oil change interval has been reduced to 20,000 kilometers. This measure managed to get rid of the disadvantage. Fortunately, poor turbocharger life is a thing of the past. The only thing that can still be encountered is small oil leaks and wear on the sealing washers under the nozzles. There will be a smell of exhaust gases in the cabin. Since 2011, the 1.6E HDI has been available with its own patented start-stop system and reversible alternator. In 2012, the power of the European versions increased from 112 to 115 horsepower. In 2014, the engine received the designation Blue HDI and became Euro 6 compliant thanks to the combination of AdBlue, a particulate filter, a redox catalyst, and a low-pressure EGR system. The performance of the unit increased to 120 horsepower. The 1.6E HDI is aggregated exclusively with a robotic box until 2013 EGS6 and after ETG6. In addition, the 3008 variant with 2.0 HDI is available to Europeans. In the early years of production, the 2-liter turbodiesel met Euro 4 emission standards. Unlike the 1.6 HDI, the subsequent transition to Euro 5 did not involve major technical changes. The weakest 150 horsepower variant was offered with a 6-speed manual transmission, and the 163 horsepower version exclusively with an ASIN automatic transmission. The 2.0 HDI engine is currently the most mature design. The problems of early versions with the EGR valve are no longer relevant, and the driver himself is usually to blame for the premature wear of the dual-mass flywheel. A new set will cost $500. All diesel engines use a particulate filter. In order for it to perform its role well, regular top-ups of Aeolus Infinium are required. In Europe, PSA offers remanufactured particulate filters at fairly affordable prices, but this program is not available for the 3008. You will have to pay about $1,000 for a new filter. This is not a little, but some brands ask for much more. The 3008 prototype, called the Peugeot Prologue Hybrid 4, is the hybrid version. It has not been widely adopted. The power plant is a combination of a 2.0 HDI with 163 horsepower turbodiesel that drives the front wheels and a 37 horsepower electric motor that rotates the rear. If the battery level falls below a certain level, then all-wheel drive becomes unavailable. The limited number of copies sold makes it difficult to judge reliability and operating costs. None of the gearboxes caused claims. There is no need to complain about the durability of the robotic gearbox. The clutch of the robot wears out after 150,000 kilometers. On the positive side, I would like to note the good resistance of the body to corrosion. Only a few owners have noticed swelling of the paint in the lower part of the inside of the rear doors. Headlights are almost guaranteed to lose their transparency, cloudy, after 7 to 9 years of operation. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.